Some beautiful edition right here.
TVM delivers breaking stories, global headlines, and the moments that matter. From exciting sports action to exclusive local events, we keep you connected. Celebrate our culture, people, and voices with powerful documentaries and inspiring stories. Experience premium entertainment, from trending music to urban lifestyle and beyond. Grow your spirit with life-changing messages and uplifting perspectives. Lead the way with bold conversations, fresh ideas, and thought-provoking shows. Wherever you are, whenever you want, watch TVM on all your devices. TVM, your world, your network. This is TVM.
All right. Hello, welcome to TVM's Metro Sports. It is another weekend. Thank God it's Friday. And this is how I welcome you to another edition today. I remain your host, Fred O'Neill. This is a show where we talk about different sports and not just only football, but different sports. For those who have itchy ears as it relates to football, don't worry. Tomorrow, Saturday, is all about football. But let's go into the business of the day. Let's start with basketball because basketball's world governing body, FIBA, well, what are they saying? They have suspended the British Basketball Federation (BBF) and, of course, barred the men's team from international competition because of governance issues. A FIBA task force was set up in August to investigate regulatory non-compliance within the British basketball. In April, the BBF awarded a 15-year license to run a new professional men's competition, the Great Britain Basketball League, to the GBB League Limited, which is known as GBBL. Now, the BBF said GBBL, a consortium led by the American businessman Marshall Glickman, would provide £15 million funding in the first 2 years. However, the existing 9 Super League basketball SLB clubs claimed the tender process run by the governing body was illegal and unjust and refused to join the new league. The clubs launched legal action against the BBF in the High Court, while UK Sports Minister Stephanie Peacock reportedly asked the government body responsible for elite funding UK sport to investigate the allegations. Now, in a statement, FIBA said it had completed a comprehensive review of the situation, including interviews and meetings with basketball stakeholders. Under the terms of the suspension, the BBF will not be permitted to license or recognize national men's competitions or field a men's national team in FIBA senior competitions. The task force will now engage directly with basketball stakeholders and the UK government to explore and propose an interim operational framework for the top-tier men's competitions. On Sunday, the BBF announced the resignation of Chairman Chris Grant after 3 years because of personal reasons. Its interim chair, Grace Jacka, said in a statement on Wednesday, they understand the disappointment that players, staff, and fans alike will be feeling, that the immediate priority is to continue working with key stakeholders to maintain stability while contributing constructively to the process with FIBA. The BBF added that the GB Men's World Cup qualifier against Lithuania, which was scheduled to hold in London on 27 November, will not go ahead. Now, to Formula One, Mercedes have confirmed they will retain their current driver lineup of George Russell and Kim Antonelli for the 2026 Formula One season. But Mercedes did not make specific mention in their announcement of contract length for Russell and Antonelli, simply saying the lineup was confirmed for 2026. Russell, however, is understood to have agreed a multi-year extension with the team. Both drivers' futures at the team were thrown into doubt by Mercedes' attempts earlier this year to sign reigning world champion Max Verstappen from Red Bull. Now, Verstappen confirming in late July that he would stay with Red Bull until at least the end of 2026 appeared to make it a formality that Mercedes' lineup would remain unchanged, but it has taken several months of negotiations for the deals to be agreed. With Russell Antonelli pairing only officially confirmed for 2026, by the way, it remains to be seen if there will be an opening for Verstappen from 2027. Although the reigning world champions Red Bull contract runs to the end of 2028, it is understood to contain performance clauses. And now to boxing, because promoter Frank Warren says Moses Itauma is happy to fight Kubrat Pulev next after the matchup was ordered by the WBA. Pulev, the WBA's regular champion, was ordered to defend his belt against the 20-year-old Itauma. Now, Team Itauma has been considering a fight for the Englishman in December, with Derek Chisora suggesting he will share a card with Itauma on 13 December in Manchester. Warren said they have had several top heavyweights already turn down a fight with Moses, but if Pulev fancies the job now that he's been ordered, they will be pursuing it and will be a brilliant fight. Itama last fought in August when he blew former world title challenger Dillian Whyte away in one round. That result improved Itama's undefeated record to 13 fights and 11 knockouts. Itama has since been linked with a slew of potential opponents, including Filip Hegovic, Michael Hunter, and domestic rival David Adeleye. Warren is keen to give Itama more rounds as the young boxer only has 26 rounds under his belt so far. For Pulev, who is a veteran of the sport at the age of 44 with 35 fights on his record, the Bulgarian has twice challenged for world titles, losing to Anthony Joshua in 2020 and Vladimir Klitschko in 2014. However, Warren has cooled talk of an imminent fight with the likes of Alexander Usyk, but says Itama is already one of the best heavyweights in world boxing. By the way, Itama is a Nigerian, born of a Nigerian father, so also flying the flags of Nigeria, if you ask me. All right. Lando Norris says he will face consequences for his first lap collision with McLaren teammate Oscar Piastri at the Singapore Grand Prix. Norris collided with Piastri at turn 3 in Marina Bay after running into the back of Max Verstappen of Red Bull and, of course, damaging his front wing. Norris went on to finish third with Piastri fourth in the race on 5 October. Norris, who trails Piastri by 22 points with 6 races to go, with this weekend's United States Grand Prix in sight, said the team held him accountable for what happened, which he thinks is fair. Now, neither Norris nor McLaren were willing to say what the consequences for him would be, but Norris said the last thing he wants is something like that to happen. To cause this kind of controversial talks after a race. Now, he said he puts just as much risk on himself, putting himself out of the race, as he does whoever he's racing against, whether it's Oscar or anyone else. After the collision, Piastri asked on radio whether the team were cool with, Lando barging him out of the way, but McLaren took no action during the race. Now, the framework which McLaren set for acceptable conduct when their drivers race with each other is founded on one basic principle: to not crash with any teammate. Now to basketball again. Former NBA most valuable player, talking about Russell Westbrook, has signed with the Sacramento Kings as he enters his 18th season. The 36-year-old played the 2024-25 season with the Denver Nuggets, averaging 13.3 points, 6.1 assists, and 4.9 rebounds in 75 games. The 9-time All-Star signed for the Kings after becoming a free agent in June as the Nuggets were eliminated in the Western Conference semifinals. Westbrook holds the NBA record for most triple-doubles with 203 and led the NBA in scoring in 2015 and 2017. He joins the 7th team since being drafted in 2008 by the Seattle Supersonics. He has also played for the Houston Rockets, the Washington Wizards, the Los Angeles Lakers, and of course the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, India is set to host the centenary Commonwealth Games in 2030, the second time in 20 years that the event will hold in the world's most populous nation. The city of Ahmedabad in the west of the country has been chosen ahead of Abuja in Nigeria by an evaluation commission from governing body Commonwealth Sport. And the decision to hold the games there in 5 years' time is now expected to be ratified at the organization's General Assembly in Glasgow on the 26th of November. Ahmedabad can boast the Narendra Modi Stadium, the largest in the world, with a capacity of 132,000, which hosted the Cricket World Cup final in 2023. The city has a population in excess of 5 million people and has even been suggested as a potential bidder to host a future Olympic Games. The Games first visited India in 2010 when Delhi hosted. It is the second time Abuja has missed out on staging the Commonwealth, having been overlooked for the 2014 edition in favor of Glasgow. And it also means Africa's wait to hold the event for the first time will continue. The 2030 Games will mark the centenary of the inaugural event held in Hamilton, Canada in 1930. On the home front, Folashade Oluwafemiayo on Thursday broke the world record in the women's 86 kg event, lifting 168 kilo to clinch gold for Nigeria at the World Powerlifting Championships in Cairo, Egypt. Oluwafemiayo improved on her previous world record of 167 kg to achieve the current feat. This is her fourth world title for Nigeria, by the way, adding to the 2 Paralympic gold medals she had won. In 2012, she won silver medal in the women's 75 kg category at the 2012 Summer Paralympics, breaking the world record in the process. She also won gold medal at the 2017 World Powerlifting Championships in Mexico. However, she was suspended in 2018 for breaking anti-doping laws. She returned in 2021 where she won the gold medal in her event at the 2021 World Powerlifting Championships held in Tbilisi in Georgia. At the 2021 event, she also set a new world record of 152.5 kg. She also competed at the 2022 Commonwealth Games where she won a gold medal in the heavyweight event. Good one for the Nigerian weightlifter right there. And now to some football matters. The Emirates Stadium, home ground of Premier League giants Arsenal, will host the international friendly match between Brazil and African representative Senegal. Arsenal disclosed this in a statement on their website on Thursday. According to the statement, and I quote, five-time men's World Cup winners Brazil will take on Senegal at the Emirates Stadium on Saturday, November 15, 4 p.m. kickoff. Our home will play host to the first of the Selachos 2 November friendlies in Europe prior to their fixture against Tunisia in Lille on Tuesday, November 18. End of quote. The statement went to say that Senegal are one of the very few national sides never to have lost to Brazil, securing a win and a draw in previous friendly matches. The two sides last met in 2023 in Lisbon, with a Sadio Mane brace contributing to a famous victory for the Lions of Teranga. I recall that Brazil have previously played 9 times at the Emirates, with a goal from Neymar in their most recent visit in 2018, securing a 1-0 victory against Uruguay. Brazil have already secured qualification to the 2026 World Cup following victory against Paraguay in June. This maintains the nation's remarkable record of having featured at every edition of the World Cup. Senegal's recent victory over Mauritania in the African qualifiers secured their spot in their 3rd time of running, and of course with the team seeking to surpass its quarterfinal placing in 2002. Now, Everton manager David Moyes has disclosed that the Toffees job may be his last managerial job this season. In an interview he granted, Moyes admitted that he did not expect to return to management after leaving West Ham in 2024. Moyes said he will probably say Everton is his last job. He said he actually thought West Ham was going to be his last job, and also because he won a trophy, but said he got a bug for maybe doing it again. West Ham's Conference League victory marked Moyes' first title as a manager, and he said he would never forget the celebrations that followed. Moyes became Everton manager in 2002, where his highest spot with the club was 4th in the 2004-2005 season. In 2008, he led the club to a runners-up finish in the FA Cup. Moyes had a short stint with Manchester United, succeeding Alex Ferguson upon retirement in 2013, but was sacked in April 2014. In November 2014, he was appointed coach of Spanish club Real Sociedad, but was sacked just after a year in charge. He took charge of Sunderland, replacing Sam Allardyce in 2016, but resigned at the end of the 2016-2017 season after the club got relegated. Moyes was appointed manager of West Ham in November 2017 and led the club out of relegation zone to a 13th place finish, but left at the end of the season when his contract was not renewed. He was appointed at West Ham for a second time in December 2019 following the sacking of Manuel Pellegrini, during which he led West Ham to victory in the 2022-23 UEFA Europa Conference League, beating Fiorentina in the final to achieve the club's first major silverware in 43 years. Moyes left West Ham in 2024 and returned to Everton in 2025. All right, so the international break is over until November, as we know. This weekend sees club football return in major leagues across the globe. But we will look at major football matches coming up beginning from Friday, 17 October. There are the CAF Intercontinental Championships, if you want to know, and of course the road to the group stage of the Total Energies CAF Champions League 2025-26 group stages, which is its final hurdle this weekend as the first leg matches of second preliminary round are played across the continent from 17 to 19 October. 12-time African champions Al Ahly of Egypt begin their campaign away at Aig Noy of Burundi, with coach Yes Terub's men looking to start their title charge on a strong note. Nigeria's Remo Stars take on South African powerhouse Mamelodi Sundowns. And of course, in North Africa, JS Kabylie of Algeria lock horns with US Monastir of Tunisia. Two sides who cruised through the opening round with emphatic victories and now meet in what promises to be a high-tempo contest. Elsewhere, four-time winners Esperance of Tunis travel to Burkina Faso to face Rahimo FC, while Petro Atletico of Angola visits Stade d'Abidjan in Côte d'Ivoire. Now, these are the fixtures for the weekend. If we can get that on the screen. All right. If we cannot, well, the clash between defending champions Pyramids FC of Egypt and Ethiopia side, talking about insurance, as well as the meeting between ROS Bakane of Morocco and Ahali Tripoli of Libya. Those games have been postponed. For Pyramids and Bakane, they will instead face each other in the CAF Super Cup on Saturday in Cairo, a battle between the winners of last season's Total Energies CAF Champions League and, of course, Total Energies CAF Confederations Cup. So you can see on the screen the fixtures that we have today. Yes, just today's fixture. Police will take on Al Hilal. That's the second qualifying round, leg 1 of 2. And of course, Monastir, like I said, will host JS Kabylie. Those games coming up a few hours from now. Yeah, a few hours from now. All right. TBM's Metro Sports definitely will return after this break, where we'll break down some other footballing activities. Stay with us.
At DSAG Engineering and Services, we anticipate, manage, and deliver. Since 2000, we have been a leading EPC company, ensuring customer satisfaction through quality service and timely delivery. With integrity, proficiency, and innovation at our core, we provide world-class solutions tailored to your needs. From engineering designs and construction to procurement, manpower outsourcing, and maritime supplies, DSAG delivers excellence. Partner with us today. Visit www.dsag.net or call +23 4807 254 8724. DSAG Engineering and Services, anticipate, manage, deliver.
Welcome back from that break, and it is time for us to look at the fixtures that we have today as it relates to footballing activities. We'll start from the Spanish La Liga. We'll look at Real Oviedo and Espanyol because both will go into this game hoping to return to winning ways in Spain's top flight when the lock ons in game week 8 of the 2025-26 campaign on Friday evening. Real Oviedo are 17th in the La Liga table, picking up just 6 points from their opening 8 matches of the season, while the visitors are 9th with the Catalan side claiming 12 points from their first 8 games. Real Oviedo have won 2 and lost 6 of their 8 La Liga matches this season with 6 points and are just outside the relegation zone in 17th. But they are only 1 point ahead of bottom of the table, Mallorca. They are back in the top flight for the first time since 2000 and 2001, securing a return to La Liga through last season's Segunda Division playoffs. So their aim for this season is not to be relegated to the lower division. Veljko Paunovic was sacked by Oviedo following the 2-0 home defeat to Levante last time out, and Luis Carrion is now back in charge of the club. Espanyol, on the other hand, have made a solid start to the season, picking up 12 points from 8 matches, recording 3 wins, 3 draws, and 2 defeats. The Catalan outfits are 9th in the La Liga table, by the way, but they have only managed to pick up 2 points from their last 4 games, with draws against Girona and Valencia, in addition to losing to Real Madrid and Real Betis. That game kicks off at 9 p.m. Now, in the German Bundesliga, Union Berlin will host Borussia Mönchengladbach. Of course, that game will be holding at the Alte for Stadium right there in Germany. These are the two sides struggling this season, with the host garnering just 7 points from 6 games, while Mönchengladbach have 3 points. For Mönchengladbach, they are a step ahead of bottom of the table FC Heidenheim. Mönchengladbach would want to emulate their form of last term, where they did a double over their host Union Berlin. For Union, they have struggled at home this season, with their only win coming at the start of the season over VfB Stuttgart. Mönchengladbach, on the other hand, will want to kickstart their campaign with a win away at struggling Union. They have not won any game in the league, with their last game a disappointing goalless draw against Freiburg. Now, the French Ligue 1, we have a PSG and Strasbourg. The Parc des Princes will host a top-of-the-table clash between this pair tonight. That game coming up at 7:45 p.m. With just a point separating the defending champions, talking about PSG from Strasbourg, Luis Enrique's PSG will want to put their disappointing 1-1 draw away at Lille behind, and of course aim at securing maximum points at the Parc des Princes. Dembele, Marquinhos, Ruiz, and Neves are all out of this fixture, but at least PSG do have players to execute this particular fixture, though their eyes will be on next week's Champions League fixture against Bayern Leverkusen in Germany. Last season, PSG won this fixture 4-2, but this Strasbourg side do score goals, with their only recent goal drought in this particular fixture dating back to 2023-24, when they lost at the Parc des Princes by 3-0. All right, so these are the games that will be coming up today. Like I said earlier on, tomorrow is all about football. You do yourself good to join us, because we'll be having match of the day preview. We'll talk about extensively about football. But these 3 games I just highlighted, I picked them from some of the major leagues: the French Ligue 1, the German Bundesliga, and of course, the Spanish La Liga. We'll just, before we go, we'll just look at some of the head-to-head, form of these teams. The 3 teams we just talked about, the 3 fixtures we just talked about. before we call it a wrap. Let's start with the Spanish La Liga side, where we have Oviedo taking on Espanyol. Like I said earlier on, Oviedo is seated on the 17th position, while Espanyol are on the ninth, position in the table. 6 points for Oviedo, 12 points for Espanyol. Now, when you look at both teams, goals that they have conceded, let's look at the goals conceded by Oviedo. Oviedo have conceded 14 goals so far in this particular fixture. Talking about this Oviedo versus Espanyol, while Espanyol have conceded just 11. So much stats in front of me to look at this particular fixture, but when we go down, we look at the form guide now. Let's look at how these teams have, performed so far in the league. For Oviedo, like I said, just one win out of the last 5 games they've played. The first game, they lost to Getafe by 2-0. That one was at home. Also, they lost 1-0 against Elche. And of course, Barcelona thrashed them 3-1. The only victory that they have recorded so far this season in the La Liga was the one they played against Valencia, where they defeated Valencia by 2-1. They lost 2-0 before the international break against Levante. For Espanyol, the only victory they've recorded so far was in the opening day of the league for them, where they hosted Mallorca. That game produced 5 goals. They won that one by 3-2. Now, Real Madrid, they took on Real Madrid. They lost that game by 2-0. But you want to look at this Espanyol side from the number of games they've played, just 2 losses, 1 win, and 2 draws. The 2 draws were against Valencia, where they played 2-2 with Valencia, and of course Girona. That game ended goalless, and then they lost their last game before the international break, 1-2. So they want to look at all of these going into this particular fixture. Like I said, these 2 teams, they have just 1 win, but for the home side, Real Oviedo, they have not even drawn any game, just 1 win and 4 losses. All right. Let's also look at the other game we brought to you from the German Bundesliga. That game will be coming up by 7:30 Nigerian time. Union Berlin versus Borussia Mönchengladbach. That game, head-to-head, I'm looking at the head-to-head form right now. Union Berlin, by the way, they are 13th in the log, and Mönchengladbach are on 17th. Mönchengladbach have a poor result so far. When we look at their form, they only win. They have 3 points in the league, and that's not really good at all. The 3 points came from the game they played, the 3 draws that they have executed so far in the season. But let's look at their form now. Let's start with the away side now. The Borussia Mönchengladbach. They lost 4-0 away at Werder Bremen. And of course, they played out a 1-1 draw against Bayer Leverkusen. They lost 4-6 against Eintracht Frankfurt. And of course, Freiburg was a goalless affair. For Union Berlin, they lost to Hoffenheim. We're looking at their last 3-4 games now in the German Bundesliga. They lost 4-2 against Hoffenheim. And of course, their only victory, one of their victories that they have is the one against Eintracht Frankfurt, where they defeated Frankfurt by 4-3. They played out a goalless draw against Hamburger, yeah, and of course they lost to Bayer Leverkusen by 2-0. All right, the last talking point in the fixture we have for today is coming from the French Ligue 1, where the defending champions are talking about Paris Saint-Germain will be taking on Strasbourg. And that game is coming up at the Parc des Princes. That's the name of the stadium right there in Paris, the home side, the home stadium of the Ligue 1 defending champion, of course, Champions League, the defending champions of the Champions League. Now that game is coming up at 7:45 p.m. You look at the position, like I said, it's a top of the table clash. If PSG loses against Strasbourg, Strasbourg will definitely go on top of the table. All right, so they are first. PSG, as before kickoff, they are first on the log with 16 points, while Strasbourg are on the third position with 15 points in this particular neck of the wood. You look at the form going into this particular fixture. PSG have just conceded just 5 goals, while Strasbourg have conceded 7. Yeah, let's look at how they've performed so far in the league in all competitions. For PSG, they defeated Atalanta by 4 goals to nothing. That was in the UEFA Champions League. They lost to Marseille in the French Ligue 1 by a lone goal, and then they came back strong in the French Ligue 1, where they trashed Auxerre by 2 goals to nothing. Then a shocking result. Should I say shocking? Well, an interesting result, I would say, in the UEFA Champions League was when PSG defeated Barcelona by 2 goals to 1. That was a match without, Ballon d'Or winner Dembele. And of course, their last game before the international break was a 1-1 draw against Lille. That was an away game. For Strasbourg, well, out of the 5 games that they've played, they won 4 and lost 1. The only loss came in the French Ligue 1 when they were at home. They lost at home against Olympique Marseille 2 goals to 1. In other fixtures, they defeated Le Havre by 1 goal to nothing at home. Of course, they went away, defeated Paris FC, one of the newly promoted side in the French Ligue 1, by 3 goals to 2. And in the UEFA Conference League, where they are playing in Europe, they went away, defeated Slova Bratislava by 2 goals to 1. And then the last game they played before the international break was a hauling of Angers in the French Ligue 1. That game ended 5 goals to nothing. All right, this is where I will have to draw the curtains on today's edition of Metro Sports. And of course, it's been a pleasure doing this. Don't forget, you can join us tomorrow afternoon for weekend football right here on TVM. All right, I remain your host, Fred O'Neill, and you can watch us on the go on TVM's app, accessible on Android Play Store and of course on Apple Store. Interact with our social media pages, like, subscribe, and share. Yes, and that's how we'll draw the curtains. From me, I want to say thanks for being part of the show. I'll see you again soon.